Hi, and welcome back to Purple Collar Life. I'm Chad, and I've got an exciting video for you today. Like most people who enjoy tractors and equipment and firewood and chainsaws and just rural living, I'm always trying to find ways to use that equipment to do the hard tasks I've got to do. So let me show you. I've got a task coming up, and I think I've got just the piece of equipment to do it. So this is Jennifer's landscaping and flower bed in front of the porch of the house. And that is a beautiful little maple tree. Nice and tall. It's already up above the gutters of the porch. Growing nice and straight. And I'm going to have to carefully dig it with the roots out of this area because it's time to transplant it. Fall in Northwest Pennsylvania is a great time to transplant trees. And I'm thinking about adding it up into the grove up there. There's kind of that little gap to the left of all those cherry trees. So I think I'll add that maple tree up in there. But you know, we're gonna have to dig a hole and dig it deep enough and wide enough to put that in. What's the best way to do that? Yeah, I think that might work. And that would certainly be a fun way to do it. So I am super excited to introduce to the channel our new mini excavator. Now, I need everybody to get your hands on that keyboard because I have about 1 million questions and I'm hoping to get feedback from all of you. You can see this is the Takeuchi TB-235-2 mini excavator, and we are going to do a whole video just about this excavator, why we chose it, what it should be able to do. But in today's video, like I said, I have some questions and we'll explain what those questions are. I guess the first one, we should probably talk about how you really say the name. So I have seen several videos of people pronouncing this Takeuchi. So leave those comments down below if you know for sure how to pronounce the name properly, because we're gonna have this on the channel and I want to make sure I'm saying it the right way. So some of the basics, like I said, we'll make a whole video just about the mini excavator here, but it does have a thumb, so we'll be able to use it for all kinds of firewooding and moving logs through the woods. I'll finally be able to do, after some practice, those log stacking challenges that I've seen One Eye Customs, Hometown Acres, Mike Morgan. I've seen those guys all participate in those fun excavator challenges. And I will use this to scoop 1 scoop of dirt out to place that tree. But actually, there's a handful of other projects that really have needed done for a while. And I have been trying to contract with someone to get those done. They all require digging and trenching. It's just probably not enough work to make it worthwhile for someone to come out with a machine. And I do like equipment, so we added this to the Purple Collar Life equipment list. All right, so get those fingers ready. First thing I want to talk to you about, I have driven this probably less than a half an hour. Yesterday I was over in that area. I've got some firewood rounds over there. You can see some of them are out of place. There's a deer going through there also. But yesterday I was just practicing using the thumb to lift those up between the thumb and the bucket, twisting the house, dropping them onto a target, just to get the feel for the controls. But before I get too much seat time, I have an important question for you guys. It's nice and comfortable in here, that's for sure. It'll be awesome to have a cab. You can see it's raining outside, but I am sitting inside, staying dry. It has a heater, it has an air conditioner, so this is gonna be climate controlled, hard work happening inside this machine. The first question though, for all of you guys out there, ISO or SAE, which on the Takeuchi machine is called G operator controls. So I know that I'm going to be learning some way to use this machine, and I'd like to get you guys' opinion on which operating method to use, because this machine has both. You just flip a lever, and I'll show you that lever, and you choose the operating control pattern you want to use. There are graphics here on the front windshield that remind you of the joystick control motions to make different actions happen. But before I go and learn one particular way, I'd like to get you guys' feedback. And let me tell you, I've already done some research. People that I watch it's already conflicting. So, you know, I like to watch Neil Messick on Messick's. He says he uses the backhoe or SAE control method. I like to watch Mike Morgan on Outdoors with the Morgans. He says he uses the ISO method. So it probably depends on what you learned on, but I'm kind of wondering, what do you guys think I should learn? Because probably once I learn one way, I won't ever need to learn the other way. So leave those comments down below. Question number 1, the answer, should I learn the ISO or the SAE? So before I get a whole bunch of seat time, I'll read through those comments and see what you guys think. There's that control where I can switch between what they call G operation control and A, which is the ISO control. Question number 2 has to do with the bucket and how it's currently set up. Now you can see that the pin is through one of these spots right here, but I have heard you can adjust the position to back here, which changes obviously the angle of the bucket. So I'd like you guys' feedback. Question number 2, if you know the answer, when do you use the pin in this position and when do you use the pin in this position? This is a tag bucket, by the way, and a tag thumb. All right, for question number 3, I'm bringing you back here to the shed. I've talked about this problem before, and the mini excavator is going to help me solve it. And this will probably be the first project I take on with that machine, other than just, you know, digging holes to practice digging, moving some firewood around to practice and get the feel for all the controls. This will be the actual first project, I think. So when we first enclosed the shed with the metal and I was making a better gravel floor in there, what I realized is that there's a ton of runoff from up by our firewood stack up there, just beyond where Olive is, and all that water comes down here, flows across here, and was washing out the base of my shed floor. So just with a shovel by hand, I dug a small trench, laid that 4-inch French drain pipe in it to capture the water up here. It kind of flows down here. I made it like a little divot for it to go into, capture there. But then also I've got gravel the whole way around it, and underneath it the water comes across the front and discharges right here, where at least it's beyond the building and can flow down through that way into the woods. So this will be the first project, is properly putting a French drain around the building here and grading this off right. You can see the side of the building here, that needs some grading work. The water flows down here, lays in that pocket. I did build this up just so the water wouldn't flow straight back into the building. So that has actually really helped keep the water between that and this drain. But I'd like to get this leveled up a little bit better through here so I can more easily mow it. I still will leave that little swale so the water goes back. I'll probably clear out that dirt pile back there so the water can easily get back into the woods. So I will be 100% upfront and say these videos you see of me using the excavator, I am not an expert. I'm not even a novice. This will be my first time driving an excavator, using it for a project. And before I just go digging a trench along the side, digging a trench across the front, digging a little bit of a trench along the side here and trying to create a swale in this area, I'd like you guys' opinions in the comments on the best way to do that, because probably nothing worse than doing the project and videoing it and then comments afterwards saying a lot better ways I could have done it. So if you can just kind of picture this area and give me some tips on, first of all, how deep I should trench that pipe and fill in with gravel. You remember we've got that big pile of gravel now from the tar and chip of the driveway. So the old number 3 gravel will be perfect for underneath and over top of that pipe. And then my second part of the question is how to let the water come out here. Should I just let it run like it has been down through the backyard, or should I continue that French drain trench that way and kind of let it go back behind the shed? So all that information would be helpful. And don't forget, you can absolutely give me the basics, even the basics of the best way to level this kind of out but leave that little swale. but make it so I can mow along the shed here. Step-by-step instructions of the best way to do this would be super helpful to me. My other question back here at the shed, now let's take a look at this. You can see the Workmaster in there behind me. This doorway right up here that I can't reach, that is about 7'9", and the new mini excavator is about 8'2". So I was actually considering maybe digging that floorway a little bit deeper, especially here at the door, so that I'd have enough height clearance to back the mini excavator in there. But I just don't know about digging down that far. I'd have to dig down, you know, 6 inches or so. I'd have to take that cement obviously out, leave a gap underneath the doors of whatever it is, 6, 7, whatever the math works out to be inches. And once I'm through the doorway, I have plenty of space up above, height-wise, for the mini X to fit in here. I still probably would scrape some of this gravel out from the floor, but at the same time, I don't want to get back down into the mud I was having before having the gravel in there. So leave those comments down below. Should I just do these drains as the project, or should I lower this all down first so that the door height would be tall enough for the mini X to get in there? Heading up to the firewood pile here, we do have some deer. I don't know if you can see, there he goes. Wondering what we're doing up here. Olive's giving them the warning. There she's pointing at them. Olive, I see the deer, thanks. Hey, Olive, leave it. Leave it, Olive. Okay, so my other question about excavators. Again, total newbie here. What is the tipping risk if I'm traveling up a slope like this and make a turn? I'm assuming I'd want to avoid this low spot. It's not only a ditch through, but it's uneven right to left. That feels like it'd be a tipping hazard for me, but I'm not exactly sure how stable these things are when they're moving. I know the people I've seen use them always have like these nice shale roadways or nice level dirt pads. Our land is not like that. You can see here that it's not even level left to right here. So I'm wondering, is it safe to bring that machine up through here? Obviously I'm gonna have to trim some limbs because these are hanging down too far, but I'd like to get up this path. Now, I've showed this in a previous video. This is the old cabin here in the woods, and I'd like to get this cleaned up so that this can be another good area for firewood. I think the Mini X would be great at picking up those pieces and getting this leveled out with a nice solid surface for the firewood to sit on. Maybe this would even be where I split firewood, I'm not sure, but I'd like to get that cleaned up. Okay, another project opportunity. Behind me there are multiple stumps in this swampy area, so I'd like to get those cleaned out. One of the problems I had using the Stump front hoe bucket from Artillian on the John Deere tractor, it's a little wet in there and it's hard to get much leverage to get digging down in around those stumps. Hopefully the mini excavator will be much easier to dig around them and pull them out. But it is wet in there where Olive's standing, and I'm wondering how it is on wet ground. It's a little swampy in there. Seems like the tracks would do really good in there. Also seems like if I get this thing stuck, I'd have a lot of trouble. I think the front boom and bucket could push you out of most situations, but looking for your feedback there also. Just keep typing away. I definitely appreciate all the advice. Okay, one of the main projects that I've wanted to get done now for about 10 years is burying electric and water over to my big 40x60 pole building. It has been that extension cord coming from the garage all the way over to the pole building. So I can't wait to get a trench dug, lay down a water line, and lay down proper underground power lines to that building. But again, I'm gonna need some advice from you guys who have done things like this before, the people who are wise enough to tell me better ways to do it or other options, because let me show you what some of my issues are in thinking about this project. So here's the garage where I was planning to take the water and the power from. You can see currently it runs up along here, kind of shortest distance. But what you also see is right there, I have a buried drain. that drain comes all the way across the driveway and up to that culvert right there. So all this is that buried drain. Obviously I can't dig across that and bury a water line and an electric line, so that means I'm probably going to have to come out of the front corner or the side of the building, come straight across, down over the hill, through this wet area where all the water comes out of that pipe, all the way up here, up that bank, and to this front corner of the buildings where I currently have the electric panel that doesn't have electric going to it. Just have that extension cord coming in for basic lighting in the building. So that was my initial idea. Now the bank is another question, and again, sorry if these are all totally maybe silly newbie questions, but let's say I'm digging the trench. I've got the excavator coming back. This is probably too steep for me to back down over with the excavator, so I'd probably drive around there, come down in here into the wet stuff. You can see how wet this is, and then dig down this bank and this way. Then I make my turn from here and go towards the building. Now that corner to corner, or corner across and up, was my plan if I was paying somebody else to do it, because that's probably the shortest way and easiest way to get power and possibly water to the building. But I'm wondering if it might be more ideal, now that I have my own machine, to get it from the back of the house, get that water, and get a little bit higher amperage power. So I've got 200 amps going into the house. It goes to the main circuit breaker. We've got that split into a 100 amp box in the addition of the house. We've got that split 50 amps into our garage. And I was thinking about splitting another 50 amps or 30 amps at least into the big building. If I come from here, I'm not stealing from multiple different breakers. I could come right from the main, get even a 100 amp line, run it all the way to the building. That might be the better way to go. I could also run water from here, but let me show you what we're up against this way. So the power goes in there. We didn't have the sidewalk and the steps when that was originally in, so the power actually runs underneath those stairs. So I would most likely come from this side of the house, opposite the stairs. I'd have to come around this bank, but you can see I've got our internet line there buried. Comes across here. Well, you can't see underneath here, but you can still see my flags. Septic line goes out there. All of our French drains come at this low point all the way out, way back to the woods. And like I said, our power actually runs under the steps and to the utility pole there. So there are a lot of obstacles to coming around the back of the house with power and water. Which does bring up a great question. Another question I have, keep those fingers going on that keyboard. When do you have to call the dig number? So here in Pennsylvania, there is that quick 3-digit number you call before you're going to dig anywhere to let them know you're digging. They come out and check for utilities. Now I know where those utilities are, but I would still call because I know there's utilities in there. But when I'm back where those stumps are, or back around the shed that I know there's not utilities there, do I still have to call them before I trench to put that French drain in? Is it just practice? Anytime you get on an excavator to dig a hole or a trench, is it necessary to call that before you start digging number and have them come out and mark any utilities, or at least confirm there's nothing back there? Yes, the front of the house is closer to the big building, but you can see the house does have a wraparound porch. I would have to somehow go underneath this section of sidewalk, across the driveway. Again, right there's that culvert, so we'd be contending with that issue. And the line would be under the driveway all the way over to there. So yes, I know that's already a lot of questions, and that's just on a couple projects here, but I appreciate those comments down below and that help. Like I said, we will be doing a video about the excavator in the future, but I kind of wanted to get your opinions on first those control options, which one I should choose, or your thoughts on which one is more commonly used, and then these first few projects. Now this one by the garage, getting power to the big building, I might not do that before winter time. I feel like I still have to do my research there. I haven't found a good answer, but maybe you guys will have one in the comments that'll help me out. So yes, I do have yet one more question. and that is best ways to practice using everything on here. I don't want to just dig a bunch of holes here in the yard. Obviously I've got projects to do, but Jennifer will be not happy at all if I'm just out here trenching and digging for no reason, especially because now it's going to create a muddy mess to get into the winter time. So if you guys have tips, like I'm thinking about when you learn to play piano, there's books you use like finger power exercises that kind of get you that muscle memory of playing notes in sequence and timing. Looking for activities like that to learn how to run this excavator efficiently and properly. So I'm sure there are activities that you guys can recommend to learning how to operate an excavator. So I've been enjoying lifting up the firewood rounds with the front thumb, twisting and dropping them down onto a target. I haven't yet tried to stack them. I haven't yet tried to twist them over so that they're going from horizontal to vertical. So those are all things I can keep working on with firewood rounds, but I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys have for kind of games and activities you can do with an excavator that help you become a better operator. See how we can take a look here at the beauty of this thing. Again, we'll do a whole video just about the machine, but super excited to have it here. It's going to be a lot of fun, but also accomplish a lot of tasks. When we had that septic tank issue earlier in the year and I had to dig it with the John Deere tractor, it would have been so much easier and faster to be already a somewhat skilled operator using this and find that tank. Would have made a much smaller mess in the yard also. So thanks for watching. I know it's going to take me some time, but I really look forward to reading through all those comments, you guys' tips on which operating style, how to do that French drain around the shed, ideas and better options for getting the power and water over here to the big building. Looking forward to reading all of that information down below. I know there's a lot of people out there who have experience on these machines, and that experience and their insight will be greatly helpful to me as I start planning to tackle these projects in the future. Thanks for watching. Leave those comments down below. Give us a like, a thumbs up if you like videos about rural living and all the projects we do here at Purple Collar Life. And if you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button. We'll do lots of videos in the future about this machine. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again the next time. That was a fun video to make because I'm so excited about that thing.